Hello, everyone. I'm on by myself tonight. I feel that I shouldn't always be hiding behind talking with other people or to other people and other people's stories. So thank you so much for being here. It's amazing how this group has really grown this past month, really. I'm still blown away. And thank you for believing in this mission. I originally created this group because I believe so strongly in self-love and acceptance of ourselves, no matter what we're going through or where we are at in life. And in undoing and acknowledging the parts of our past or our culture that may have contributed to some unhealthy coping mechanisms or patterns that we've developed for ourselves. So, I didn't introduce myself today. I just wanted to share a bit about myself and my story and how I came to found this group. So my name's Tony. I was born in China and moved here when I was 2.5. Grew up mostly on the East Coast. We moved around a lot when I was younger. And my parents, they both were very, very hardworking immigrants from China. They fought tooth and nail to come here. And actually, they both became physicians, which was one of the really very difficult things to do. And so they always wanted that for me as well. You know, the typical, it's like be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, right? Those are the only acceptable things you can do with your life. And I think it's just their background too, and from being in survival mode. You know, they really were the rags to riches kinds of people who came here with, I think they always say it's like $86 in their pocket, and they've really made something of themselves now. So I felt that immense pressure growing up, and I was essentially an only child. My sister was born 12 years and 1 day later, which I'm so thankful to have her in my life. But it's ended up being for most of my life, I just felt this heavy, heavy pressure to gain my family's approval because they've invested so much into me. My grandparents took care of me when my parents were here raising me. And so growing up, I've always been that kind of person who just got good grades, straight A's, was a good child, didn't speak up for things that I wanted. I really love drawing. That would be my means of escaping, creating my own worlds, and creating my own friends even. I was very, very shy and introverted. I still am. I'm introverted. I've learned over time to be more sociable, and I love connecting with people. I'm definitely just not good at large groups or crowds. And I know it all takes practice, but one step at a time, right? So, so growing up, I always said, I'm going to be a cartoonist. I'm going to be an artist. Loved watching Disney, Japanese anime, manga. I loved playing video games. That was me, one of the dorkiest people. I even wrote fan fiction as well and started an anime club for my high school. We did just a lot of these things. I was really glad I still got to express myself. I fought for some of the clubs I really cared about. For example, one of them was called Battle of the Classes, where we would decorate our hallways according to a theme such as Mario or Peter Pan. And I would stay late all the time just working on painting these cardboard characters and coming up with all these wacky ideas on how to make our hallway stand out the most. So, and I loved being creative just in all these ways. However, I kind of put that aside for, gosh, was it 12 years of my life doing medical training because I happened to get into this combined medical school and college program. And I felt it was an opportunity that I really couldn't pass up or turn down. So, but at that point, I just felt like I kind of signed my life away and started living someone else's life. And I didn't realize how that would really affect me. I thought, oh, I'm doing this for a great cause. What a noble thing to be a doctor, serving other people, really helping people very concretely, making a difference in people's lives. And I just really didn't acknowledge how I was feeling deep inside, how it just I had so much fear and dread of going, even before starting medical school, and throughout the entire process too. But I just never listened to myself. I always just tried to push aside my own emotions and just think about how I'm doing this for other people. And just over time, that model just breaks. I was really, it was so unhealthy. I was basically using unhealthy coping mechanisms like emotional eating. I love sweets, so just be stuffing my face a lot whenever I'd feel that discomfort. I didn't learn how to process emotions in a healthy way. And I know many can relate. If you're from an Asian background, we just tell ourselves, suck it up. Like, oh, let's only feel positive emotions. Negative emotions, like they don't exist. We just turn a blind eye. We don't talk about them. It's very hard for us to feel emotionally connected, even with our parents or other family. I know they show us love in other ways. They take care of all of our physical needs. They provide for us financially, cook us delicious food, and show our love. We try to spend time together. But I think growing up, just that emotional awareness, that's been a big piece that's been missing. And so that's been something that I've really become sensitive to working on ever since then. So for me, medical training just took a really, really long time. It's 4 years college, 4 years medical school, and then 3 to 7 years of residency training where you're working as a doctor, but you have a supervisor looking over your actions, and you're seeing patients. So I got a taste of what it's like. I kept telling myself, oh, it's going to get better. It's going to get better when I'm not hitting the books anymore, when I'm actually serving people in real life. And it unfortunately didn't for me. I just kind of felt like this was a great life, but it didn't feel like me. I wanted to draw and still be creative in the free time that I had, but I was just finding I don't have any energy left over. Now, medical training can sometimes work us really hard. Some days we're working 80 hours a week. But at other times, it's just the weight of everything too. I'll try not to get too much into it, but when you have people's lives in your hands, and we're all human, right? We're going to make mistakes at some point, but there's this really unhealthy, toxic culture in medicine where doctors are not allowed to make mistakes. We're not allowed to be human. Any mistake that we do make can result in a terrible consequence, getting our license taken away. And so lots of doctors even are fearful about speaking out if they're suffering, if they're in need of help. Even if you try to make an appointment for yourself to see your own doctor or your therapist or anybody else, it can cause a huge disruption to the workforce. They really need you. We're already short-staffed as is, and it's really hard to get that time off. And I was just feeling, how could this be? This is so hypocritical. How could we be these role models for care, and yet we're truly not caring for ourselves or for other people who go through this path? So all these things, the way I sustained it, really, my passion for, as I found later or in college, really was for helping women. I don't know why I'm really drawn, but just so many issues with what women go through, from the expectations in society, the difference in our pay gaps, the difference in our roles as women are working, but we're still expected to do more of the household responsibilities. The struggle with allowing birth control or even abortion, all these other things that I understand that they are controversial, but it's also not women in power who are deciding these things. So a lot of these, and I think also as women, we think we are more prone to people pleasing and lower self-esteem, although both men and women struggle with different demons and just all these societal expectations. So that's what drew me to becoming a women's health doctor. I was a gynecologist at first for 2 years, and when finding that field was not right for me, I was feeling a lot of, oh gosh, it just was so tragic. It's hard to explain. When you're delivering babies, when things go well, the miracle of life is beautiful. But when things go poorly, it is just absolutely tragic and horrific. nothing happened to a patient that I was taking care of, but I've heard stories from other people, and I was present, I was observing, and there was a tragic case where I saw a newborn baby suffocate during a delivery, and I guess it just made me realize, oh gosh, if I continue down this path, that will be me one day. If I continue on in this field, just felt like so much responsibility. And I think that's also when the true weight of being a doctor hit me too. And I just thought, this is not right for me. I'm such the kind of person who cares so deeply. I later realized there's something called a highly sensitive person, HSP. That's me for sure. And those people, our upsides are we're extremely empathetic, and we can feel people's pain and animals' pain just as if it were our own. But the downside is that without boundaries, we are definitely more prone to being really sensitive and hurt by our environments or our jobs in certain locations. So I was just like, I don't think doing a high-risk field such as delivering babies is right for me. So I changed to working in the clinic, which is more as a primary care family medicine doctor. So I just see patients, prescribe medications, do a couple of simple procedures. And I felt that definitely fit more with who I am. And yet I still felt something was missing there, because I did feel joy in those moments when I did serve women and help them with their reproductive needs, like prescribing them birth control or giving them an IUD or a birth control rod to really help them. It's all about empowerment, I realized at the end of the day for me. It was empowering other people to have more control over their lives, to be able to make more choices for themselves. That really drove me for my mission for women's reproductive health. So I really found that to be gratifying. But everything else, I was like, oh, I've always been more of an arts person than a science person. Why is it so hard for me to absorb, like for the umpteenth time, what diabetes medications to use, or what's the process behind this high blood pressure, just all of these things of the organs that I know it's important, but it just didn't come that naturally to me. I was an okay test taker. I think I'm pretty flexible and could absorb things decently, but I just longed for more. Again, it's just this feeling that this didn't align with my soul, what I was born to do, what I was put on this planet to do. I was raised atheist, but I've definitely become increasingly spiritual over the years, especially the past 4 years. I've gone through so much personal growth and development, and it was really from that moment that I acknowledged that medicine wasn't right for me. I felt pressured by my family to choose this path. I understand where they're coming from. They just want me to have a stable, safe, respectable job. I mean, yes, I'll call it what it was. They used not so great language in regards to my dreams of being a cartoonist, saying like, you're no one special, you'll never make it. All these things that we now call them what it is. It's emotional abuse. And I think a lot of us have dealt with that too. But it has really affected us. It leads to low self-worth, low self-esteem, self-doubt, lots of fear, this inability to trust ourselves, and that we can do whatever we set out our hearts to doing. It took me so long to really come to where I am now, where I'm starting to believe that I can do, that we can create whatever kind of reality we want to create, that we're in control, that we are in the driver's seat of our life. It starts from us. It's about having that mindset shift first. Now, I worked with really inspiring therapists. I've worked with inspiring coaches, read a ton of really great books and resources and courses, and talked with amazing people. And that really, really helped me in my journey. And I just want to pass it on to everyone too, because I think we only get one life, and this universe would be so much better off if all of us believed in ourselves and went for our dreams. didn't just try to take the safe way or keep ourselves small or tell ourselves that there's no way we can do X, Y, or Z. So that's what brings me to where I'm at now. Now I'm going for those dreams. I realized I'm pretty multi-passionate. I have a lot of things that hobbies and also just interests that really drive me. I am pursuing the art route. I have had my blog now out for a year and a half, and I've just been using my creativity on it and just putting it on there and not worrying about what people will say or people will think. It's my heart and my soul that I'm putting out there. So I have projects such as women's health empowerment, cartoons and drawings, both in just teaching some tricky concepts of women's health, like what even is a pap smear or how does birth control work, but also just some raising awareness of some feminist issues or women's inequality issues. I have a comic where I love languages, so I love the thought of teaching languages in a fun way, or just teaching most things in a fun way. So I have a comic about this monk, Chinese monk guy, who as he travels the world trying to figure himself out, and it teaches you some Chinese words as you go throughout the story. There are 30 pages now, continuing to add to it. And then this, like starting the Acceptsians group, which actually I started back in October and have been trying to post consistently for, it's really to gather all the dreamers, all the people who want more from their lives, because community is so important. I remember it was so lonely setting out on this road by myself. I had followed such a well-paved road before and then dropped off a cliff, really, and I always yearned to travel nomadically, so that's why I came up with my name of my blog, just Liu Tong Nomad, or LT, my initials, Nomad, which also would stand for like long-term nomad. I don't know. I definitely overthought it, and now I'm just like, oh, it seems like too much hassle to rebrand and change the name all over again. But originally the A was in parentheses too, so it's like long-term, no MD, because I got the MD and I did all the training, but it won't define me. There's so much more to who I am, and really honoring all the parts of someone is so important. So I'm doing the art, I'm doing the raising awareness of these toxic cultural traditions that they have been passed on, that we've personally been victims of, and just trying to improve on those, trying to heal, both with higher up in the branch and in the future generations, if we have children, or with our siblings, just with anyone. I do believe that love and acceptance universally is the key to transforming this world entirely. So thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to be here with you all. Gosh, let me think. So that was my story. I wanted to have some kind of a quick, like, actionable tip too in each live video. So I mean, today I would say I would encourage you to do a kind of a self-assessment, see where you're at now. Just be really honest with yourself. What would you do with your life if you could do anything? You know, don't think about what's practical, what's feasible or achievable. Just let your imagination out. What would that look like to you? What are these long-buried dreams that you may have had in childhood, and what's holding you back now from exploring them a bit? And I know that when I doubted myself or got down in the past, when just saying like, oh my gosh, like there are so many other amazing artists out there, how can I possibly compare with them? what really helped me was just reminding myself everyone is so unique. We all have our unique styles, and there is a place for us. And the second thing is whatever work that you do, and you may say, oh my gosh, I'm not worth this amount or this value for it. I recently heard the story, I think it was a Pablo Picasso or just some other famous artist, right? He was just chilling in a restaurant or a bar, and someone's just like, oh, you're Picasso, can you draw me something? And so he takes a napkin and he draws her something. It takes 5 minutes, and he's like, that'll be $1,000 or whatever it was. And she's like, what? How can you charge $1,000 for this? And it only took you 5 minutes. And he's like, you're wrong. This took me my entire life, because the culmination of all my life experiences, all the hours that I poured into my skill of learning how to draw, to be able to produce this drawing in front of you, that's what it's worth. That's why it's worth $1,000. I was just blown away by that story, because it's so true. All of us, you may feel like, oh, I don't have any skills, I don't have any way to contribute to this world that's useful or valuable, like I should just stick to whatever makes money or whatever day job that I can get. That is so not true. Everything that you've enjoyed, everything that you've done, it's priceless, really. And I feel so strongly about just everyone being able to do that, to fully express themselves, whatever that means to you, as authentically as you can be, as vibrantly as you can live that way. And so that's what drew me to becoming a life coach as well. And I'm still pretty new. It's been 5 months since I've really started doing the training and the certifications and practicing with other coaches and connecting with other coaches and coaching clients. But it's been this incredible journey, and I love directly supporting people with their dreams too. So if you'd like to connect in any way, if you'd like more support in your dreams, in your journey, please reach out to me. You can private message me, schedule a call with me. I guess I'll leave my information, so you could probably find my information in this group. So anyway, that brings me to the end of the live, I would say. I don't think I see any questions down here. Thank you for being here. Oh gosh, I don't think I can see the names of who's here. Oh, Topo and Drew, thank you. Yeah, so thanks so much for watching again. And I really look forward to being in this group and bringing more exciting adventures and activities to this group. I know right now it's such a crazy time with the pandemic. There's so much uncertainty, there's so much isolation, and so much fear of what's going to happen next. So I think it's even more important than ever to reach out and have a community, or to not go through things alone. So I'm here for you. We're all here for you in this community. Just let us know what you need, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right. Have a great night, everyone.